What happens when a CEO trades his corner office for a mop and bucket and overhears something that makes his blood run cold? Noah Reddington stood in front of the full-length mirror in his guest bathroom, adjusting his fake mustache for the third time. He looked nothing like himself. His silver-streaked hair was dyed dull brown, his tailored look replaced by a cheap black polo and beige kitchen pants. He looked like what he was pretending to be, a down-on-his-luck guy trying to get back into the workforce after a rough few years. He hadn't been to store 11 before. Out of the 18 locations his late father had built, this one was the most recently added. A full-service kitchen and dine-in setup, it pulled in solid revenue on paper. But the recent turnover rate had been too high. 3 servers quit in 1 week. The district manager, Lisa, claimed young people just don't want to work. But Noah didn't buy it. He hadn't met any of the kitchen staff or floor managers here. With how large the brand had grown and how little he'd been on the ground the past 2 years, no one in this location would recognize him. Especially not as Nick, the new trainee starting on the morning shift. He stepped into the kitchen through the back entrance at 5:45 a.m., clutching a travel mug and trying to look like he hadn't slept well. A tall man with a buzz cut glanced up from a tray of thawing chicken. "You Nick?" he asked. "Yeah," Noah said, clearing his throat. "First day, name's Ray." "Kitchen lead, you'll be cleaning, dish pit stocking. That fine?" "Sure." Ray nodded, then pointed with his chin. "Aprons in the back. Clock in, we start in 15. By 6, Noah was sweeping the back line. The kitchen was already loud, metal clanging, fans humming, voices rising. He moved quickly, not wanting to stand out. He watched everything. The way Ray barked commands without looking anyone in the eye. The way the younger cooks flinched when he passed behind them. At 6:40 a.m., a girl about 19 dropped a stack of ramekins near the sink. They shattered. Noah turned just in time to see Ray storm over. "You drop another thing like that, Danny, and I'm docking your pay for the day," Ray snapped. Danny froze, eyes wide. I'm sorry, chef, I don't care. You break tools, you pay for it." "You think this stuff's free?" Noah stood there, broom in hand, heart thudding. He hadn't expected this, not this soon. He wasn't ready, he'd just started. But the words hit him like ice. You don't get to threaten someone's paycheck over a dropped dish. Danny mumbled an apology and crouched down to pick up the pieces. No one helped her, not even the other line cooks. Noah bent down beside her. "Careful," he said quietly. "You okay?" She didn't look at him. Just nodded fast, eyes red. By 8 a.m., Noah had seen enough to know something was off. The kitchen ran like a pressure cooker. No breaks, no eye contact, minimal talking. Just orders and stress. On his first break, he sat on an overturned bucket near the back door. A voice startled him. "You knew," he looked up. A woman stood there in a wrinkled server apron, short brown hair tucked under a cap. "Yeah, Nick, I'm Dana, server, been here 5 months. You like it?" She laughed once dry. "It's a job, pays the bills, that's about it." "You ever see Ray dock someone's pay?" She hesitated. "He says it." "I don't think he actually can, but people don't push back." "Why not?" Dana glanced around. "Because if you do, you suddenly get less hours, or you get pulled off good shifts, or your name just disappears from the schedule." Noah's stomach tightened. Later that day, he mopped near the cold prep table. A cook named Jordan, maybe 22, was chopping lettuce. "Man, my check was short again," Jordan muttered. "What? 3rd week in a row, missing hours. I told Amanda, floor manager, and she said it'll get adjusted next week." "Never does. You talk to HR," Jordan gave him a look. "There is no HR, just Lisa, and Lisa loves Ray." The door to the kitchen swung open. Amanda walked in, phone in hand. "Ray, we need more prep on the house salad. You're behind again." Ray didn't look up. "Tell him to order something else." Noah watched Amanda sigh and walk back out. The next morning, Noah arrived early. Danny was already there prepping pastries. "Hey," he said. She offered a small smile. "Morning. You okay from yesterday?" She paused. "Thanks for helping." "Most people just ignore it," he nodded. "How long you been here?" 3 months. "I need the job. I'm saving for school." Noah clenched his jaw. You shouldn't have to choose between school and being treated right. She looked confused. What? Nothing, he said quickly. Just tired. The rest of the shift passed in a blur, orders stacked up. Ray snapped at everyone. One of the dishwashers walked out. Noah felt like he was watching a slow-motion collapse, but it wasn't random. It was controlled, fear-driven, and Ray was at the center. At the end of the day, as Noah wiped down the counters, he made a choice. He was coming back tomorrow. And this time, he wasn't just sweeping floors. By the third day, Noah had stopped pretending he didn't notice the tension in people's shoulders the moment Ray entered the room. The morning started like the others' quiet greetings, heads down, everyone moving twice as fast as necessary. It wasn't efficiency. It was fear masked as hustle. He entered through the back, apron already on, and joined Jordan at the prep station. The kid looked exhausted, his hands moving on autopilot through bins of onions. "You sleep?" Noah asked, keeping his voice low. Jordan nodded, but the dark circles under his eyes said otherwise. "Closed last night, open today?" "Yeah." "They've got me on 6 days this week." Jordan didn't stop chopping. "I asked for just 1 weekend off, said I had to cover for someone who quit." Noah tilted his head. "Did you get any break yesterday?" 15 minutes. And that was only because the fryer shorted out and Ray made us all clear the line. No one should be working like this. He glanced across the room. Danny was on pastry again, moving quietly. Dana was setting up the hostess stand near the front, her face unreadable. At 6:25, Ray stepped into the kitchen. He didn't say good morning. He never did. He scanned the room like he was counting heads, then walked straight to the walk-in cooler. When he came out, he was holding a sealed container labeled shrimp use by 4/12. Today was the 15th. Noah froze. Ray popped the lid, gave it a sniff, then set it on the prep counter. "Thaw this. We've got a big party at noon. They won't know the difference." Jordan looked up. "Chef, that's 3 days past. Did I ask for commentary?" Jordan's jaw tightened, but he didn't speak again. Noah stepped forward. "That's a health code violation." Ray turned slowly. "You've been here, 2 days? You don't talk to me about violations." "Does Lisa know you're doing this?" Ray's stare hardened. "You want to keep this job, you don't ask questions." Noah held his ground. "I'd rather be unemployed than serve that." Ray stepped closer. "Then mop the alley, you're off prep." Noah didn't move. "I'll mop it, but I'm reporting this." Ray didn't respond. He just turned and walked into the office, slamming the door behind him. By noon, the kitchen was running hot. Orders were backing up. Amanda hadn't shown up yet, and no one seemed to know where she was. Noah overheard one of the cooks mention she left early yesterday and hadn't responded to messages since. While wiping down a station, Noah noticed Danny struggling to carry a tray of drinks out to the dining room. It was heavy, 6 glasses stacked across 2 levels, and her hand was shaking. He stepped in. "Let me take that." "I've got it," she said quickly, eyes darting toward the kitchen entrance. "You're going to drop it." She hesitated, then let go. Noah carried it out while she followed. The dining room was half full. A family of 6 sat near the back, their youngest child screaming. A couple near the window looked annoyed. The mood was tense. As he set the tray down, Dana passed by with a bus tub full of plates. She whispered, "We're 2 servers short today." Lisa pulled them for a catering gig, didn't tell anyone. Noah felt something shift in his stomach. Did she at least send backup? Nope. Said we'd figure it out. Back in the kitchen, Ray was chewing out a teenage dishwasher for not having the soup spoons polished. The kid looked close to tears. "Use the steel wool. I don't care if your hands bleed. Get it done." Noah stepped in. "That's enough." Ray turned. "You want to join him? You can't talk to people like that." "I can if they're costing me time." "You want to take over dish?" Noah nodded. "Gladly." He took the towel from the kid's hand and motioned toward the back. "Take 5. Get some water." Ray looked like he might explode, but before he could say anything, the door opened and Lisa walked in. She was in her 40s, tall, with perfect nails and a clipboard. Her eyes scanned the room, uninterested in the tension. "Ray, how's prep for the party?" "Handled," he said, nodding toward the shrimp. Lisa glanced at it, then back at her list. Good, let's keep it tight today. We've got a potential investor dropping by next week. Noah stepped toward her. Can I ask something? Lisa didn't look up. You're the new guy, right? Nick. Well, Nick, we'll chat later. Right now I'm in the middle of, are you aware expired seafood is being served? That got her attention. She blinked. What? 3-day expired shrimp. Ray pulled it from the walk-in. Ray cut in. It's fine. I checked it myself. Lisa narrowed her eyes. You cleared that with me. You weren't here. I made the call. We've done it before. Noah studied her face. She didn't look shocked, just annoyed. Ray, she sighed, I told you to be discreet. Not serve garbage. I didn't have time to order more. Then cut it from the menu. It's a big group. We can't just. Lisa waved him off. Throw it out. I'll handle the invoice. She turned to Noah. Thanks for the heads up. But next time, follow the chain of command. Noah didn't move. That seafood was almost served to customers. Lisa smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. And it wasn't, so let's move on. She walked into the office. Ray turned slowly. You just made an enemy. Noah stared at him. I'm not here to make friends. The rest of the day spiraled. Amanda still hadn't shown. Danny dropped a plate and flinched like she'd been slapped. The dishwasher came back from break and barely spoke. Jordan cut his finger on a dull blade and wrapped it with paper towel because the first aid kit was empty. At one point, Dana leaned against the drink station, breathing hard. You okay? Noah asked. She nodded, but her lips were pale. I haven't sat down since 6. He checked the clock. It was almost 4. You need water. I'll get it after this table. Noah stepped in. I'll take it. She didn't argue. By 6, the kitchen was running on fumes. The party finally arrived, 12 people, all expecting fast service. Ray barked at the servers to upsell desserts. Lisa made a brief appearance, told everyone to smile more, then left again. At the end of the shift, Noah helped Jordan restock the cold line. Why are you still here? Jordan asked quietly. What do you mean? Most people quit after 2 days. You're still going. Noah didn't answer right away. Because this place deserves better. You all do. Jordan gave a tired laugh. Good luck with that. Noah watched him walk toward the back. Then he dried his hands, walked into the office, and shut the door behind him. Lisa looked up from her laptop. Yes, he closed the door. You need to fire Ray. She raised an eyebrow. Excuse me? He's violating food safety laws, threatening employees, and making this place toxic. Lisa leaned back. You're not in a position to make demands. Noah reached into his pocket, pulled out his wallet, and placed his company ID on the desk. She stared at it. Noah Reddington, he said. Owner, founder's son. I've been here 3 days, and I've seen enough. The office went silent. Lisa's face drained of color. You went undercover. I had to. You've been shielding a man who's abusing his staff and putting customers at risk. She opened her mouth, but he held up a hand. Save it. You're on leave until further notice. I'll be reviewing every complaint, every schedule, every payroll slip. Starting tonight. He stepped out of the office and walked back into the kitchen. Ray was wiping down the grill. He turned as Noah approached. You forget something? Noah folded his arms. No, but you did. He nodded toward the door. You're done here. Effective immediately. Ray dropped the rag. You serious? Get your things. Ray laughed once, bitter. Lisa won't back this. She doesn't have to. I just fired her too. Ray stared at him for a beat, then walked out without another word. Noah turned to the kitchen. Everyone had stopped working. I'm not here to scare you, he said. But I won't let anyone be mistreated under my name. Things are going to change, starting now. No one clapped, no one cheered, but Jordan stepped forward, and for the first time in 3 days, he smiled. Noah sat alone in the front booth just before sunrise, hands wrapped around a chipped ceramic mug filled with burnt coffee. The dining room was quiet, the kind of quiet that only existed before the clatter of breakfast shift took over. The air still smelled faintly of last night's grease. He hadn't gone home. After Ray and Lisa left, he'd stayed behind with Dana and Jordan to finish closing down. There'd been no celebration, no speeches, just a few nods and the sound of chairs being stacked. He'd spent the night reviewing time cards, vendor invoices, and incident logs in the office. What he found wasn't just mismanagement, it was deliberate manipulation. Schedules altered without notice. Pay discrepancies left unresolved for weeks. And a long-forgotten binder of handwritten complaints, most unsigned, each one dated and ignored. Footsteps approached. Danny, still wearing a hoodie over her uniform, paused when she saw him. "You sleep here?" He nodded once. "Didn't want to leave until I figured out what I'm dealing with." She slid into the booth across from him, setting a granola bar on the table and unwrapping it slowly. "There's more," she said. "Stuff you didn't see, I'm listening." He'd make us clock out early sometimes. Say the budget was tight, but we'd still have to finish cleaning. One night he said I could keep my job if I didn't argue. Noah felt his jaw tighten. "Did he ever touch you?" Her eyes flashed up sharp. "No, but he stood too close, always watching." He nodded. "Thank you for telling me. I'm documenting everything. You won't have to deal with that again." She didn't say anything else, just ate her bar in silence and left to prep pastries. By 7, the kitchen was filling up. Noah had called in 2 staff from another location to help stabilize the shift. They were familiar faces, trusted. He'd told them the truth: Ray and Lisa were gone, and Store 11 needed support. Jordan arrived late, shoulders slumped and hoodie zipped to his chin. "You good to work?" Noah asked. Jordan dropped his bag near the walk-in cooler. "I didn't sleep. My brother had a seizure last night. I was at the hospital until 3. You should go home. I need the hours." "You won't lose them. I'll cover your shift pay. Go get some rest." Jordan looked at him like he didn't understand the words. "You're serious? I'll call a rideshare." "You're off the clock starting now." Jordan hesitated, then nodded and walked out slowly. Noah turned to the others. "We're short again. I'll take dish. Let's just keep it running." Dana was already at the hostess stand, flipping menus and answering the phone. She looked over. "We got 2 complaints overnight from the online system. Same table, said service was slow, food was cold." "Was that the party?" She nodded. "Yeah, it was chaos. We tried." He leaned against the podium. "You don't have to explain. You did what you could." She lowered her voice. "Do they know you're the boss now?" "No, and I'd like to keep it that way for a little longer." He returned to the kitchen, filled the sink, and started scrubbing trays. The water was lukewarm. The hot water heater had been unreliable for weeks, according to the maintenance log. He made a mental note to replace it. A new face walked in around 8. Mid-30s, thick glasses, tightly wound hair. She wore a pressed apron and carried a clipboard. "I'm Catherine," she said. "District HR got your message." He pulled off the gloves. "Thanks for coming." She followed him into the office. He closed the door. "I need to bring formal charges against 2 former employees, one for wage theft and retaliation, one for food safety violations and harassment." Catherine nodded. "Got your email last night." "I've already started the documentation. I'll need statements from staff. I'll make sure they know it's optional and protected." She opened her laptop. "Do we have a temporary GM?" He shook his head. "Not yet. I want to promote from within if possible." She typed something quickly. "We'll need to assess current leads. Anyone stand out?" He paused. "Amanda. But she's been absent 2 days now. No call, no text." Catherine frowned. "Want me to try contacting her, please?" As she got to work, Noah stepped back into the kitchen. Danny was frosting cupcakes with impressive speed. "Who trained you on pastry?" She wiped her hands. "No one. I watched videos." "Ever thought about culinary school?" She shrugged. "Could never afford it." He nodded. "Keep doing what you're doing. You're good." She didn't respond, but her movements became more confident. By late morning, things began slipping. A walk-in customer complained about a lukewarm sandwich. Another table waited 20 minutes for silverware. The line cooks were trying, but the rhythm was off. Everyone was stretched thin. Noah took a tray to table 5. The man sitting there frowned. "I ordered this without onions." "I'll fix it right away." The man sighed loudly. "You people don't listen, do you?" Noah stiffened. "Excuse me." I said no onions. "Is that so hard? Maybe get someone who speaks English next time." Noah's tone went flat. "Sir, we don't tolerate that kind of talk here." "It's a joke. Don't get all sensitive." Noah didn't move. "You can keep the meal on the house, but I'm asking you to leave." The man stood, scoffing. "Unbelievable, this place has gone to hell." As he walked out, Dana appeared beside him. "That was the guy from last week," she said quietly. "He called Danny the help while she was bussing. He won't be back." Back in the kitchen, the tension had shifted. Small things, eye contact, an extra hand with dishes, someone offering water without being asked. The fear had started to lift. Catherine returned just after noon, holding her phone. "I got Amanda's emergency contact. She was admitted for dehydration, collapsed at home yesterday morning." Noah exhaled slowly. "How bad?" "She's stable, but she won't be returning soon." He rubbed his face. "Thanks for checking." "I've also flagged the schedule system. There were multiple violations of labor law. We'll have to audit all locations. Start with this one, then expand outward." She nodded. "We'll need a new GM by next week." "You still want to promote internally?" He looked across the kitchen. Dana was helping a newer server fold napkins. Danny was restocking the dessert case. One of the cooks was showing a new technique to the dishwasher. "Yes," he said, "but not just one. I want a leadership team." "Shared responsibility." Catherine raised an eyebrow. "That's unorthodox." "So is letting a kitchen rot from the inside." She closed her laptop. "I'll draft a plan." By the time the dinner shift started, Noah stood behind the line, plating orders. He didn't have to, but it mattered to be seen. The staff worked quieter now, but not from fear, from focus. He stepped away for a moment and found Danny filling tea pitchers. "You holding up?" She nodded. "It's different now." "You trust it?" She hesitated. "Not yet, but maybe soon." He didn't push. Change didn't happen in a day. Later that night, just before closing, Dana approached him near the back door. "You're staying again?" "For a bit." She looked down at her apron. "We're not used to being listened to. You should have been from the start." She nodded once. "Let me know what you need." As she walked away, he turned to face the empty kitchen. There was still a long way to go, but for the first time, the silence didn't feel heavy. It felt ready. By the end of the week, Store 11 was no longer running on fear, but it wasn't running smoothly yet either. The gaps left by Ray and Lisa were still wide. Schedules remained tight, prep times lagged, and equipment kept breaking down. But now people were speaking up. Noah leaned against the freezer door, watching as two new hires from a nearby location shadowed the cold line. Dana had stepped into a temporary leadership role, managing the floor with a quiet steadiness. Danny had picked up extra hours in pastry, and Jordan, after 2 days off to be with his brother, was back, moving slower but with his guard down. Catherine returned that morning with a proposal for a 3-person leadership structure. Noah had already reviewed it. Each lead would take a different area: kitchen operations, floor service, and compliance. No one person would hold unchecked authority again. As the lunch crowd filtered in, Noah helped on expo, plating orders and double-checking tickets. A few longtime customers noticed him. One elderly woman leaned over the counter and said, "You're the one who used to run the big store on Maple, aren't you?" He nodded once, not trying to hide anymore. "I thought so," she said. "This place feels different this week." In a good way. A cook at the grill passed her plate over, and Noah handed it off with a quiet thanks for noticing. In the afternoon, Catherine called him into the office. "I finished the initial interviews," she said, sliding a folder across the desk. "We've got 3 strong internal candidates for the leadership roles." He opened the folder. First page, Dana. Second, Jordan. Third, a man named Raphael, a dishwasher who'd quietly taken over inventory the past 2 months without being asked. "Jordan's young," Noah said, scanning his file. "He's reliable, and he's honest." Noah nodded. "He helped cover for Ray even when he didn't agree with him. That's a different kind of strength." "Exactly." Catherine stood. "I've also flagged 2 vendors we should cut." Lisa had side agreements with them. "Markups were well beyond reasonable. Replace them. Use the ones we trust." As she left, Noah stepped outside for the first time all day. He sat on the curb behind the kitchen, letting the cold air settle against his back. A few minutes later, Dana came out with 2 paper cups. I figured you hadn't eaten, she said, handing him one. He took it. Thanks, she sat beside him. I've been thinking about something, go on. Most of us stayed because we didn't think we had a choice. We told ourselves it was just how things were in food service. But now that it's different, it's harder, because we have to decide if we're really going to do better. He looked over. What do you mean? I mean, Ray was awful, yeah, but we let things slide too. We didn't stick up for each other. I knew Danny was getting pushed around. I didn't say anything. You were surviving, he said. That's not the same as being complicit, she shrugged. Still feels like something I have to carry. He nodded slowly, then looked across the lot. You want one of the leadership roles? Only if it means I can actually make things better. Not just keep the lights on. That's exactly why I want you in that position. She didn't answer immediately, then, all right, I'm in. Later that evening, just before closing, Noah gathered the team in the dining room. The last table had cleared out and the chairs were still down. He stood near the bar, not above them, but among them. I owe all of you my thanks, he said. Not just for hanging in, but for being honest, for showing me what was broken. He looked around the room. Jordan stood near the dish pit, arms crossed but face open. Danny leaned on the back counter, apron stained with frosting. Dana stood at the front, hands folded. You're going to see changes. Real ones, starting with leadership. No more single point of control, no more silence when something's wrong. We're building this together. He turned to face the three of them. Dana, Jordan, Raphael, you're stepping into leadership. Dana, front of house service. Jordan, kitchen operations. Raphael, compliance and inventory. You'll each report directly to me for now. There was no applause. No one moved. Then Jordan said, do I still have to wash dishes? Only if you want to lead by example. A quiet laugh rippled through the room. Noah continued. We're also launching a real grievance process. Anonymous reporting. Escalation outside the store if needed, and we're updating every payroll policy. No more ambiguity, you work, you get paid on time, no exceptions. He paused, then added, if you see something wrong, speak. If someone shuts you down, I want to hear about it. We don't bury problems anymore. He stepped back. That's all I've got. Let's clean up and get some rest. As people moved to their stations, Danny approached him. You think we'll be fully staffed soon, I'm working on it, but I won't rush the wrong people in just to fill spots. She nodded, just wondering. You've been steady through all of this. That matters. She didn't smile, just said, I'm tired, but I'm not quitting. He watched her return to the pastry station. He stayed late again, not because he had to, but because he wanted to see it through. The quiet at closing felt different now, less like exhaustion, more like a breath being taken after holding it too long. Just after midnight, Raphael knocked gently on the office door. I found something, he said, holding up a binder. Old invoices. Some weren't entered into the system. Noah took it. Good catch. I didn't want to just toss them. You did the right thing. This is exactly why you're in the role now. Raphael nodded, then hesitated. I never thought someone like me would be trusted like this. You earned it. I just finally paid attention. Raphael left and Noah sat back in the chair. The office still felt like Lisa's old domain, cold, impersonal. He'd change that too. Eventually, he locked up and stepped outside. The sky was starting to pale. Another day was about to begin. Walking to his car, he passed the delivery dock. A note had been taped to the door. It read, "Thanks for not looking away, D." He left it there. Some things didn't need a reply, they just needed to be seen.